All right, let's talk some Aaron Rodgers for a second. I find this very interesting. I wanted to look through the numbers and just see, are there things that he's doing better than other things? Is there something that maybe we can learn from just looking at the numbers and looking at certain splits in certain areas? I think this is a great way to just learn something about a quarterback. People always seem to get mad at these videos, which is kind of funny because all it is looking at data. But I feel like every time I make these, people get angry. But anyways, maybe people just don't like how I interpret some data. I don't know. But anyways, I find this stuff very interesting. And so I want to make one about Rodgers since I've already made one about, Brady and some other guys. Let's make one about the guy who's probably going to win MVP. So first, here's an interesting thing that I saw, which was his stats when he's running play action versus when he's not running play action. So what you're seeing here is you have PFF grade. That's where he ranks in terms of his PFF grade. So when he runs play action, he's the 25th best according to PFF, which is surprising because he's usually like top 5 in everything. So 25th is a low number. And then below, he's second best when he's not running play action. But then PR, that's passer rating, it goes up. It's still 4th best when he runs play action, and second best when there is no play action. And then also percentage, that's not what percentage of time they run play action or don't run play action. Obviously, that would only add up to 40%. That's where they rank in terms of how often they do it. So, and this is with every quarterback that played at least 50% of their snaps. So we're talking about 40 quarterbacks. Excuse me, every quarterback who played at least 20% of their snaps is what I used. But yeah, so we're talking about 40 quarterbacks. They're about even in each, in terms of when they run play action or don't run play action. It's about league average. But what's fascinating really is the fact that, Aaron Rodgers, PFF says he's not doing a great job running play action, but the numbers are still there. And so maybe it's just kind of a simple thing of, hey, the Matt LaFleur play action is really good, which it is. That's probably fair. So I think that's all it comes down to. And at the end of the day, the point of running a play action isn't to make your quarterback look good. It's to move the ball down the field, and it's still having a good effect. But to me, the more interesting way to interpret this data is to say, hey, to the people that say, maybe we'll discredit some of what Rodgers does because, he has a great running game. Well, he's actually better when they're not running play action. So obviously, the running game can still help you when you're not running play action. But typically, when you talk about guys who are only good because of a running back, which obviously no one's saying about Rodgers, but maybe you're saying, it helps him to have the great running game. I'm sure it does to some degree, but typically when you talk about that stuff, the guy who, if it's true, the guy will do a lot better when he's running play action. That's not really the case. He's doing better without play action, so that's notable to me. This next chart is something I always like to do. How well is he doing in each increments further down the field? 20 plus yards down the field, 10 through 19, 0 through 9, and then behind the line of scrimmage, where does he rank in terms of PFF grade, passer rating, and what percentage of his throws are there? What's fascinating is, 20 plus yards down the field, he's 10th across the board. So, 10th best at that. Passer rating, actual results are 10th best when you do that. And then the percentage of times they do it 10th most. So to me, that checks out. That makes sense. You should probably keep doing it that way. What's fascinating is the 10 through 19 range is, and the 0 through 9 range, Rodgers is at his best, really. I mean, 5th and 9th in PFF grade, but 3rd and 2nd in terms of passer rating. So again, the results are very good when you throw it in that range, but the Packers don't really do it that often. I mean, they mostly either throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage or 20 plus yards down the field. They don't really work over the middle of the field the way you might expect them to, which is kind of surprising to me. I feel like that's what I typically see from the Packers, but that's not really how it's worked. I don't really know what to make of that, but I found it interesting. Also, they throw the ball a decent amount behind the line of scrimmage. So, again, behind the line of scrimmage, though, those stats are always kind of a little bit odd just because teams don't really throw it behind the line of scrimmage that much just in general. So, people might say, oh, Rodgers is just throwing screen passes the whole time. That's not really how it works. Also, I keep making up straw men for Aaron Rodgers. I don't think anyone has ever said, oh, Aaron Rodgers only throws screen passes all the time. But still, it makes for a more interesting video, I feel like, to make up people that don't exist to argue with. So this next chart is interesting to me. So this is where we're getting some actual data that I think you can work with. If you're a defensive coordinator, this is something I would want to know and something that I might use to my advantage, hopefully, which would be something like this. So when Rodgers is under pressure, his PFF grade drops to 13th best, his passer rating drops to 23rd best. But when he's not under pressure, 5th best PFF grade and best passer rating. So basically, the key for Aaron Rodgers to have success is for him to not be pressured. I mean, listen, everyone does better when you're not pressured versus when you are pressured, but you also see a significant jump when it comes to someone like Aaron Rodgers compared to some other guys. Of course, the question, and I equate all this stuff to the quarterback, but obviously it's all included. This stuff isn't just quarterback. It's also, PFF grade. They do a pretty good job, I think, of, getting the external factors out, only talking about the quarterback stuff. But, passer rating obviously does not. It's simply results. So for passer rating, there's actually a bigger jump than the PFF grade. PFF grade, okay, there's a slight drop off, but nothing crazy. However, the actual passer rating is a huge drop off, which to me almost tells me that it's less about Rodgers and more about like who is he throwing to. Part of me feels like typically when he's under pressure, it's because it's the few times Davante Adams doesn't get open, and who else do you have to throw to? Maybe he has to hit a second or third option who isn't as open, and that results in the results not being as good. Just speculation, but that's something I could see being. This is also interesting. Basically, what this tells me is you got to blitz Aaron Rodgers. Blitz Aaron Rodgers, get pressure on him. If you don't, you're not going to have a chance, because you look at his numbers when he's blitzed, it's not as good as when he isn't blitzed. 14th PFF grade, still 7th passer rating. I mean, listen, Aaron Rodgers' numbers, like his bad numbers are like, hey, look, he's 7th in passer rating here. He's incredible. We all know this. And then when he's not blitzed, you see that his PFF grade is 2nd best and his passer rating is best. If you don't blitz him, he's, if not the best quarterback in football, he's the best quarterback in football when he's not blitzed. That's just the reality of the situation. In my opinion, he is. PFF says someone's better, but he's really good when he is not blitzed. He's really good when he is blitzed, but there is at least a small drop-off there. So blitz him. However, it seems like teams do not have that idea. In fact, they blitz him less than league average, and they blitz him less than league average, and they'll leave him unblitzed more than league average. That's not smart. They shouldn't be doing that. This is also very fascinating. So when he has less than 2.5 seconds to throw, so when he's getting rid of the ball quickly, and really the better way to think about this is, when he doesn't have to make something happen, but when the Matt LaFleur play works, he's one of the best players in football at running an offense. In fact, PFF says he is the best player in football at just running the offense, of saying, hey, this guy's open, no, this guy's not open, let me hit this guy instead. Like the stuff that Tom Brady usually gets all the credit for, of like being the guy who can make the decisions quickly pre-snap and all that stuff. Like, no, Rodgers is actually the guy who's doing that better than anybody this season. When he has a little bit more time, it does drop off a little bit. But again, the passer rating, the results itself, hardly at all, though. So his PFF grade drops a little bit, but the results do not. So why is that the case? Again, I don't really know. But that's why they have it. Maybe you guys can speculate on that. One last thing I wanted to point out. I think some people might sit here and say, oh, well, doesn't Rodgers kind of take too many sacks? Isn't that kind of always been a criticism of Rodgers, is he creates some of these pressures? And a little bit, but not as much as you would think. So look, right here, he has the 16th highest percentage of pressures where he shares some blame, and that's out of 40 eligible quarterbacks. So he's a little bit better than average in that. He's not incredible. He does have the 8th quickest time to throw, but it seems like when he doesn't get rid of the ball quickly, we've all seen it happen where Rodgers will have a moment where he sits in the pocket too long and takes a sack. Listen, every quarterback has a flaw. That's his only one. And even his flaw is still better than league average. Like, trust me, like I'm not criticizing Rodgers. Rodgers is incredible. But this is, again, another interesting factor, I would say. To me, what this goes down to is if you can cover whoever Aaron Rodgers' first read is, if you can make that happen, and I think the best way to do that is to blitz, run a cover, get him to not realize what the play is, but change stuff up, make him unclear as to what exactly his first read is, get him past that 2.5 second time before he can make the throw. That's how you can slow Aaron Rodgers down. You're still not going to beat him, but that's the best way to success to beat Aaron Rodgers. There's still not a great way. Again, we're talking about beating, he's like a final boss in a video game, right? But to me, this is the, that part that flashes red that you're supposed to throw a bomb into or whatever. This is how you do it, is with pressure, which of course, that's how you beat everybody. But it's less about just getting pressure, but more about scheming pressure through blitzes. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What is your interpretation of this data? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.